krockfootball.com.au. It's time to continue the coaches catch-up. We're at beautiful Barwon Heads ahead of season at 2014. The Seagulls were probably the hard luck story of 2013. They were so close to making a rare finals appearance there. Coach Peter O'Connor's been good enough to join us. Pete, still rankle with you a little bit that for most of the year you were sitting inside the five, and when it counted you weren't there?
Yeah, look, it does. It was our own fault though. We had our opportunities to win it, win a couple of games, and we didn't, and we blew the game against Ocean Grove here. So we had no one else to blame. I think in the end we probably just panicked a little bit. We just sort of every game we thought we had to win, and we lost inside the big picture, not the little winning every game sort of stuff. So it was our own fault, and Ocean Grove certainly deserved to make the finals. They were playing good footy.
Has it been one of your longer pre-seasons in football? You've been in football a long time. Has it been one that you've wanted the next season to come around really quick?
Well, maybe not me. I mean, I get a bit tired with the players. Are certainly chomping at the bit. Some of them have been in the gym for a while, and the core group of about 10 or 12 players have worked really hard over the summer, and they're keen to see if we can make the finals this year for the first time in probably 8 or 9 years. So,
list changes. Have you identified what you've needed? Obviously, Daniel Hovey's departure has been talked about, and obviously still up in the air a little bit, and needs to be resolved with whether he's going to Grovedale or will come back to you guys. But otherwise, can you tell us any movement?
Yeah, look, one of the things we've worked on the last few years is to retain our list, and we've done really well this year. We've lost Hamish Ellis, who was a young full for centre forward last year, and he's got 12 months on a farm as part of his course at Marcus Oldham. Jeremy Power played with us last year. He retired at the end, and he's got a job at Joey's as an assistant coach. And Hayden Smith is in at the Falcons. So, and Taya Miles is also in the Falcons, but he probably didn't play much with us last year, so I don't count him as well. So really we've kept that down to about 3 or 4 senior players, which is good. And we've got, at this stage, we're still trying to, everyone's probably trying to chase those final few signatures, but we've picked up a kid from Geelong West in Chris Martin, who's a pretty smart half forward, we think. We're talking to an ex-player of ours who's also from Geelong West, Harley Lewis. He's had 2 years in there and 2 years down at Colac, and we're trying to twist his arm to get him back here and play with his mates. And look, we had a terrific under-18 side last year. They were runners-up in Division 2. 3 or 4 of those have already played senior footy, and I reckon another 3 or 4 will play again this year, certainly the next few years. So we've got a lot coming through the junior program. So the bulk of our recruits will come from inside.
The last successful year of Barwon Heads had, you talk about the last final appearance being the best part of a decade ago, I think it was on the back of a under-18 success. How important is it to a club like Barwon Heads compared to other Bellarine clubs, or the bigger Bellarine clubs that your under-18s continue to provide for you?
Well, I think in some cases it's a bit easier than some of the bigger clubs, because we're a small town and a small club. We've got room for them, whereas the bigger towns, they might have 30 under-18s, whereas we only have our 25, and a few of those drop off, so we probably can accommodate them a little bit easier. And they're just a terrific bunch of kids. They always have been. They love their footy, and this year I reckon we'll get 6 or 8 of them come through. And the other thing we've also got is we had a couple that were out last year with injuries, with Sam Herbison, who was a third in the best and fairest the year before, Andrew Rogers, good player from St Joey's. They both had hip operations and missed a lot last year, so they're back. And Jimmy Taylor, who kicked, you talked about Hoves, we will miss Hoves, but Jimmy Taylor kicked 60, nearly 70 goals the year before Hoves, and he's been our best part of a year and a half with a broken leg, and he's trained the house down. So we'll cover Hoves with a bit of luck. Well, it's hard. He's a monster. We can't cover him completely.
The other one that kicked a lot of goals was Brandon Backwell last year too. He really took everybody by surprise. Came across obviously from Ocean Grove and across the river, which is sacrosanct. Not that he's done it over the years, but he fitted hand in glove here.
Yeah, look, he did. I don't know what the story was at Ocean Grove. Look, if you look at his figures at Ocean Grove, he had a lot of shots for goal and missed. Like a game against us, he kicked something like 1-7, whereas at the start of the year he couldn't miss, and he was kicking 5 goals a game for the first 5 or 6 games. So I think he got his confidence up with his kicking and goal scoring, and all of a sudden, end of the year, he kicked 60 goals as a half forward. It was a fantastic year. And he's got some good mates here that he's spent a bit of time with, although I think he had some mates at Ocean Grove, and I think his closer mates are here, which is how he came across here. He was terrific last year.
What's been the focus of pre-season for your boys?
The focus has been on, I think, we've always been a pretty good attacking side and can score heavily, but against that we can have some big scores against us. So a big focus has been for us on sharpening our defence, our tackling, work around the stoppages, and we've had also a good fitness and conditioning guy for the last 2 years, and this year we're really working on putting some miles in their legs and getting them a lot stronger and fitter for this year.
Something I wasn't aware of, your access to your home ground is limited through pre-season. How hard does that make getting the boys together, knowing that you can't? Most clubs can get on their home deck, but you struggle to.
Yeah, we don't get on here from the end of September till March, so we have to find alternative venues. So we use the beach a little bit. Luckily, there's a ground out at Conowari, which is just near the CFA there, and it's got a fantastic surface. It's not a football ground, but it's about the same size as this, with a good covering of grass. And for the guys who live in Geelong, it's sort of a little bit closer, so they don't mind training there. Probably where it hurts us a bit is our under-18s. They find it difficult to get there, so we don't see as much of them as we'd like to.
You start the season with Port Arlington, then Torquay, Anglesey and Mottawarri in a testing first month of the season.
It will. I mean, look, it's interesting. I know I've watched all of your interviews with other coaches, and it is interesting because you've got to play about twice in this competition. Not like the GFL, where you might play to everyone twice, but the order you play them in doesn't really matter. I think we've got a tough run though. I think Port will be a different outfit under Sprowley. We know he's a good coach. He's certainly got the wood on us when he was at Mottawarri, so I think they'll recruit well, and they've got some players back, so they'll be tough. Murph's recruited well again, I think, at Anglesey, so they're going to be hard. And Torquay, they flog us more often than not, so we have got a tough run. And look, Newcombe, you don't know what they're going to present this year, but yeah, but I'd be happy to win a couple of those at the start for certain.
I suppose it's beating the teams around you that you need to beat the likes of Port Arlington, Newcombe, Mottawarri, Anglesey to ensure that you bank enough wins and you have that 10 or 11 wins that get you into the finals.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a tough competition to make the finals. You've got some big towns and some big communities like Torquay, Ocean Grove, Drysdale, Ammo. So they lock up 3 or 4 of the positions now every year because of just the sheer size of their clubs and their communities. Queenscliff, you take it after Queenscliff, they've been magnificent there. You know, that they've got a blueprint that's worked for them, and I suppose it's the sort of thing that we're trying to do because we're a similar sort of town. We both play the Caravan Park, so we're similar. Hopefully we're similar sorts of clubs, and we're sort of trying to work on that model. But you're right, you've got to get those 10 wins as early as you can, and you've just got to beat the sides around you and below you both times.
Fantastic, Pete. Appreciate your time as always. Always good to catch up with you. Honest as always, and we wish you all the success in 2014. Hopefully get the Seagulls back into September action.
Hopefully, and thanks for coming down and taking the time to get down here. It's great to see you.
CarrickFootball.com.au, the coaches catch up.